Margaret Hamilton's portrayal of the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz remains one of the most iconic performances in cinematic history, but few are aware of the challenges she endured during the film's production. Born in 1902 in Cleveland, Ohio, Hamilton came from humble beginnings and had a natural talent for captivating audiences. Despite her later reputation for terrifying children, with just her presence, children were actually her first admirers. As a member of the Junior League of Cleveland, Hamilton combined her love of performing with her dedication to community service, particularly working with kids. She acted in children's theater, honing her craft and developing the skills that would one day take her to the silver screen. Her ability to seamlessly blend charisma with a commanding presence set the stage for her future as one of Hollywood's most memorable character actors. After completing college in Boston, she began her career as a teacher in New York, where she discovered a deep and lasting passion for educating children. This enthusiasm for teaching remained a central part of her life, even as it intertwined with her artistic ambitions. By the time she reached 27, however, her longing to pursue acting had grown too strong to ignore. On her birthday in 1929, she took a bold step toward her dream by performing a heartfelt program of songs on stage at the Cleveland Playhouse, marking the beginning of a new chapter in her life. In 1931, Margaret Hamilton married the love of her life, Paul Boyne Meserve, the only man who ever truly captured her heart. However, Hamilton found herself torn between her deep love for her husband and her unwavering passion for acting. Her heart was equally divided between the stage and the spotlight, and her relentless pursuit of her acting ambitions placed significant strain on her marriage. Ultimately, their relationship suffered as her career took center stage. Then, as if by fate, a twist of events catapulted Hamilton toward the breakthrough she had always dreamed of, paving the way for her enduring legacy in Hollywood. Her first big break came unexpectedly when she accompanied a friend to an audition for the 1932 Broadway play, Another Language. To her surprise, she landed a role herself, playing Helen Halem, a sharp-tongued wife. This marked Hamilton's Broadway debut and served as the springboard for her transition to film. Another Language turned out to be a remarkable opportunity for the unassuming schoolteacher with dreams of acting. The play's success on Broadway not only showcased her talent, but also caught the attention of Hollywood. When MGM adapted the play into a film in 1933, Hamilton made her big screen debut, embarking on a new chapter in her career in Tinseltown. Margaret Hamilton arrived in Hollywood at the dawn of the talkies, where her impeccable diction, honed through her years on the stage, gave her a significant edge over her peers. Unlike many actors of her era, she never tied herself to a single studio, opting instead to work as a free agent. This decision allowed her to command an impressive $1,000 per week for her performances, a notable sum at the time. However, her rising career came at a personal cost. As her professional life accelerated, her marriage to Paul Boyne Meserve began to fall apart, culminating in their divorce in 1933. Faced with the challenges of single motherhood, Margaret made the difficult choice to raise their son, Hamilton Meserve, entirely on her own. Her resilience and determination during this time not only sustained her career, but also solidified her role as both a trailblazing actress and a devoted mother. It was far from easy. Despite finding herself in the heart of Hollywood's fame machine, Hamilton worked tirelessly to provide her son with a normal upbringing, shielding him from the intense pressures of the entertainment industry. Her son later reflected on how diligently she protected him from the darker sides of Hollywood, having seen firsthand the toll it took on her close friend Judy Garland, who had endured immense challenges as a child star. Hamilton's efforts to prioritize her son's well-being showcased her unwavering commitment to family, even amid the demands of her career. One day, Margaret Hamilton received a phone call from her agent that would alter the course of her life forever, though not entirely for the better. As a lifelong fan of The Wizard of Oz since the age of 4, Hamilton had long admired the magical world of the story. For the sweet-natured, child-loving former school teacher turned actress, the role of Glinda the Good Witch of the North seemed like a natural fit. However, to her surprise, the call wasn't about Glinda. It was about casting her as the Wicked Witch of the West. The news left her somewhat stunned. While it wasn't the part she'd envisioned, Hamilton approached the role with her trademark professionalism, unaware of the physical and emotional toll it would eventually take on her. Margaret Hamilton wasn't exactly thrilled about taking on the role of the Wicked Witch, but as a single mother in need of financial stability, she couldn't afford to turn it down. Determined to make the best of the situation, she poured herself into the role, ultimately transforming the character into one of cinema's most iconic villains. Balancing her demanding filming schedule with raising her son was no small feat. She courageously negotiated with the studio to manage her working hours, finally agreeing to a 5-week contract just 3 days before production began. However, her time on set ended up stretching to 3 intense months. The experience was anything but smooth. Hamilton faced numerous challenges, including dangerous stunts and the demanding nature of the role. In fact, she was fortunate to leave the set unscathed, as one accident during filming nearly cost her her life. Despite these hardships, Hamilton's performance would become legendary, cementing her legacy in Hollywood history. Margaret Hamilton's portrayal of the Wicked Witch of the West was so chilling that it left audiences terrified for generations. However, behind the scenes, her genuine warmth and kindness created a stark contrast to her on-screen persona. The cast found it almost impossible to be frightened of her when the cameras weren't rolling, and she became a beloved figure on set. Judy Garland, in particular, shared a special bond with Hamilton, affectionately calling her Maggie. Their friendship was so close that Garland once showed Hamilton a special dress she was planning to wear for her high school graduation, a moment that underscored the trust and affection they shared. Hamilton's kind-hearted nature and ability to balance her terrifying performance with genuine compassion made her a truly unforgettable presence, both on and off the screen. Margaret Hamilton's protective nature wasn't limited to her son. It extended to her friends as well, particularly Judy Garland. When MGM head Louis B. Mayer sent Garland on tour with Mickey Rooney, denying her the opportunity to wear her graduation dress on stage, Hamilton was outraged. She didn't hesitate to act, picking up the phone to confront Mayer directly. In a bold move, she berated the powerful producer, expressing her anger over how he treated Garland. Hamilton's fierce loyalty and willingness to stand up for her friends, even against Hollywood's most influential figures, demonstrated her unwavering sense of justice and care for those she held dear. Louis B. Mayer had little reason to complain about Margaret Hamilton's work ethic. She gave everything she had to her performance as the Wicked Witch of the West. One particularly demanding scene required her to set the Scarecrow's arm on fire, a sequence that needed multiple takes to capture the perfect level of menace. It reportedly took 5 attempts before the director was satisfied with her delivery. The effort took its toll, and after the final take, Hamilton, ever the consummate professional, fainted from sheer exhaustion. Her dedication to the role, even at the expense of her own well-being, is a testament to the intensity and commitment she brought to one of cinema's most unforgettable villains. Margaret Hamilton poured her heart and soul into her portrayal of the Wicked Witch, crafting a performance so intense and chilling that it left a lasting impression on audiences. However, her dedication may have been too effective. MGM ultimately decided to cut several scenes, fearing her portrayal was too frightening for younger viewers. Despite these edits, her performance remained a cornerstone of The Wizard of Oz, cementing her status as one of cinema's most memorable villains. In stark contrast to the Wicked Witch she famously portrayed, Margaret Hamilton had a profound love for animals. During the filming of The Wizard of Oz, she often felt uneasy performing scenes where she had to act cruelly toward Toto, the lovable dog who stole the hearts of audiences. Hamilton brought a unique perspective to her role, refusing to see the Wicked Witch as simply evil. To her, the character was a sad, embittered woman, shaped by a lifetime of disappointment and unfulfilled desires. This thoughtful interpretation added depth to her performance and paved the way for future reimaginings of the character. Decades later, her nuanced view would inspire works like the novel and hit musical Wicked, which recast the Wicked Witch as a misunderstood and sympathetic protagonist, proving that Hamilton's influence extended far beyond her time on screen. Margaret Hamilton's portrayal of the Wicked Witch was so convincing that it left a lasting impression, particularly on children. Not everyone shared her more sympathetic view of the character. One neighbor recounted how his nephew, despite understanding she was just an actress, refused to meet Hamilton because he was terrified she might actually be like her on-screen persona. He wasn't alone. Many children found it difficult to separate Hamilton from the frightening character she had so memorably brought to life. Her performance became so iconic that it blurred the lines between fiction and reality for her youngest audience members. As a former school teacher with a deep love for children, Margaret Hamilton was keenly aware of the potential impact her role as the Wicked Witch of the West might have on young viewers. Her son once shared, she was always afraid of the impact it had on kids. She was constantly trying to reassure children that this was make-believe. Understanding the importance of easing their fears, Hamilton often went out of her way to remind children that her menacing on-screen persona was purely fictional. She even came up with creative ways to connect with them, using her warmth and humor to show that beneath the makeup and cackle was a kind and gentle soul. To help children feel at ease, Margaret Hamilton would soften her iconic Wicked Witch voice, adopting a kind and friendly tone when speaking to them. She would often demonstrate this by saying, "How did she talk?" Well, she'd say, "It's very nice to see you." This gentle approach showcased Hamilton's warmth and understanding, as she sought to reassure her young fans that the terrifying witch on screen was far removed from her real-life self. To help soften her frightening image, Margaret Hamilton made a memorable appearance on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood in 1975. During the episode, she spoke directly to young viewers, explaining that the Wicked Witch of the West was merely a character she portrayed, reassuring them that it was all make-believe. In 1976, she reprised her iconic role as the Wicked Witch on Sesame Street. However, the episode stirred controversy. Many parents found her portrayal too intense for young audiences. As a result, the episode only aired once before being pulled from circulation. Despite this setback, Hamilton's efforts to demystify her on-screen persona highlighted her commitment to connecting with children and ensuring they understood the distinction between fiction and reality. Over time, Margaret Hamilton came to embrace her iconic Wicked persona, recognizing the enduring impact of her role. Throughout her career, she found ways to pay subtle homage to the character that made her a household name. One memorable example was in the 1970 film Brewster McCloud, where her character, Daphne Heap, sported a pair of red slippers, a playful nod to the Wizard of Oz. These small gestures reflected Hamilton's good humor and her willingness to celebrate the legacy of her unforgettable performance. Despite her success in Hollywood, Margaret Hamilton remained deeply connected to her humble roots as a schoolteacher. She continued to value education and community, founding a kindergarten at a church in Beverly Hills and even serving as president of the local Board of Education. Her dedication to teaching left lasting impressions, including one particularly memorable incident. During her teaching days, she once asked a disruptive student to leave her classroom. That student grew up to be William Wyndham, who decades later acted alongside her in the 1971 film Is There a Doctor in the House? Fittingly, this project marked the end of her Hollywood career, bringing her full circle from her classroom days to the silver screen, leaving behind a legacy as both a gifted actress and a devoted educator. Margaret Hamilton spent much of her life in Manhattan, relishing the energy and culture of the city from her charming Gramercy Park apartment. Despite her love for urban life, she sought balance by retreating to Southport, Maine during the summers. This picturesque coastal town became her sanctuary, providing a peaceful escape from the demands of Hollywood and the bustling city. It was in Southport's quiet beauty that Hamilton found the tranquility she needed, creating a harmonious contrast to her vibrant career and life in Manhattan. When Margaret Hamilton discovered that the government was selling lighthouses in Maine, including one near her summer home, she saw an opportunity to embrace her love of nature and family. During a visit with her son and daughter-in-law, her ambitions grew beyond a single lighthouse. She set her sights on Cape Island. Inspired by its charm, she and her son pooled their savings to purchase the island. Over time, they transformed it into a cherished family retreat, creating a haven where they could enjoy tranquility and make lasting memories together. Even into her 60s, Margaret Hamilton remained active in her career, continuing to appear in films and television shows. Despite her enduring fame, she became a cherished member of her Southport, Maine community, where her warmth and down-to-earth nature endeared her to locals. Her summer retreat was affectionately nicknamed Witch's Island by the residents, a playful nod to her most famous role. However, those who knew her recognized she was far from wicked, appreciating her kindness and quiet charm that contrasted so vividly with her on-screen persona. Margaret Hamilton made her last film appearance in 1982's Pardon Me for Living. Afterward, she chose to retire to a quiet island, far removed from the bustling world of Hollywood. She embraced a simple life, living without electricity and relying on kerosene lamps and stoves for light and heat. She spent her days chopping wood and savoring the solitude. This peaceful retirement was a stark contrast to the intense and often wild adventures she'd endured on film sets, especially her iconic and harrowing experiences while filming The Wizard of Oz. After decades of fame, Hamilton found solace in the quiet rhythms of her island life, content and far from the drama of Hollywood. The infamous scene from The Wizard of Oz, where the Wicked Witch vanishes in a fiery explosion, nearly ended in disaster. During the first take, everything went awry when the smoke effects were triggered too early, causing the witch to be out of position. However, it was on the second take that things took a truly terrifying turn. As Hamilton, playing the Wicked Witch, prepared for her dramatic exit, part of her cape got caught in the platform designed to lower her beneath the stage. When the pyrotechnics went off, the flames ignited her cape, and she found herself trapped in a blaze. The copper-based makeup Hamilton wore, meant to give her skin that iconic green hue, quickly heated up and she was burned in the process. The fire left her with second and third degree burns on her face and hands. It was a horrifying accident that could have been even more tragic if not for the quick action of the crew, who rushed to put out the flames and get Hamilton medical attention. Though she was badly injured, Hamilton courageously returned to finish her iconic role, but the memory of that close call would stay with her forever. The producers decided to use the first take in the final cut, making Hamilton's ordeal all the more painful. But her suffering didn't end with the fire. Removing the green makeup from her badly burnt skin required the use of acetone, a harsh solvent that only added to the excruciating pain. The injuries were severe enough that she needed 6 weeks to fully recover. Despite the trauma, Hamilton displayed remarkable professionalism throughout the ordeal. She chose not to sue the studio, aware that any legal action could endanger her career. However, she made one uncompromising demand before agreeing to return to the set. There would be no more fireworks on set. Despite the studio's efforts to ensure safety, the situation still spiraled out of control. After Margaret Hamilton's accident, her stunt double, Betty Danko, was called in to handle the more dangerous scenes. However, Danko's involvement came with its own horrific consequences. During the famous Surrender Dorothy skywriting scene, a pipe that was meant to mimic the Wicked Witch's broomstick exploded unexpectedly. The blast caused severe burns to Danko, forcing her into the hospital for an agonizing 11 days. The injuries were so severe that they left her with permanent scars, a tragic reminder of the high risks involved in making the iconic film. Hamilton remained resolute about avoiding pyrotechnics after the incident, refusing to wear either her regular or fireproof costumes for the skywriting scene. She made it clear she would not film the dangerous sequence herself. However, the risks that came with her role in The Wizard of Oz seemed unavoidable. The green makeup used for her Wicked Witch transformation was not only a challenge to remove, but also toxic. She had to drink liquids through a straw while in costume to avoid ingesting it. Even after filming wrapped, the green tint from the makeup lingered on her skin for months, continuing to leach harmful toxins into her body. Despite her commitment to a healthy lifestyle that kept her active well into her later years, Margaret Hamilton could not escape the inevitable march of time. In the months leading up to her death, she made the difficult decision to move into a nursing home in Salisbury, Connecticut. On May 16, 1985, Margaret Hamilton passed away from a heart attack at the age of 82. Her death marked the end of a remarkable life, but her legacy as one of Hollywood's most unforgettable villains endures to this day. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more amazing content.